4 in, 7 out in the January transfer window. We have definitely improved the squad. You're also definitely going to criticise me for one of them. Hello and welcome to Club 4, Part 10 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 matches for you. One in the Premier League at home against Brighton and one in the FA Cup 5th round at home against Shrewsbury. We're having a proper FA Cup run. Plus, I discovered a biscuit called a Fruit Shrewsbury from Marks and Spencer's in the post-Christmas sale, and it was delicious. So the opportunity to play Shrewsbury, thus allowing me to tell you about the Marks and Spencer Fruit Shrewsbury, was too much for me to resist. Since you were last with me, in addition to transfers, some of which may be spoiled by this screen, in actual fact I don't think any of our new signings have scored yet, gives you an idea of the kind of player we've been bringing in. But we've been winning the games we should be winning and losing the games we should be losing. So defeats against Manchester City and Liverpool, as you would expect, but we have picked up wins in the FA Cup against Wigan and Sheffield United, and also in the league against Swansea, against Watford and against Southampton. So all of that means we are into that 5th round of the FA Cup, and the Premier League table looks like this. We are almost home and dry now on the 17th of February. We're 9th in the table after 25 games. We've got a game in hand on all the teams above us, 34 points. If we win 2 more games, as far as I'm concerned, we're officially safe. Realistically, 15 points clear of the relegation zone with 13 games left to play. We're already safe, but we want those couple more wins to make sure. But without further ado, let's have a look at the transfers. And like I said, there is going to be the one I've spent big money on, you'll criticise me for. But I think we have definitely improved the squad. So you can already see what's gone on over here. But we're going to focus on the outs first. We've let Mark Albrighton go to Ipswich. Adrian De La Fuente has gone to Numancia. Stephen Hendry to Hibs. Sylvester Jasper, who I didn't even realise we had him here at Fulham. He was on loan to us at Bristol Rovers and he was quite good there. He's gone out on loan. Rodak has left because we've brought in another goalkeeper, so we don't need 3. Liam Fawn's gone out on loan. Currow has gone out on loan. Clearing out a lot of wage budget because to bring in the players that we wanted, we did need to have a little bit of manoeuvrability with the wage budget. And we have brought in 4 players, only one of them permanently, and he's the one you're going to moan at me about because it's another 30-plus-year-old player who I've spent more than £10 million on. Stephan El Shaarawy, is that how you say this guy's name? I acknowledge he's probably quite a famous footballer, but you know what I'm like. I don't watch football. I don't know who he is. I've heard the name, but I've never seen him play, and I've never heard anybody say his name before. But he's been playing in Serie A for a long, long time. We've brought him in for £11.5 million, mainly because he gives us lots more attacking options. Of all the attacking players we had available to us, he seemed like the best, the highest quality one, although he's now come in as a leading championship player. So, cracking signing that, Kev. But I think the loan signings are of a much higher calibre. We did better with the loans. I think we're still struggling with our reputation being at this level and the fact that we are dealing in relatively small transfer fees for Premier League clubs. Yeah, we had £11 million to spend, but to sign a real top quality Premier League player, you need £30 or £40 million. But we all know that's just excuses, really. But hopefully, as time goes on, we'll be able to attract a few more better players permanently. But the loan signings, I'm really happy with all 3 of them. Haris Kaltak is our new goalkeeper, 21-year-old Bosnian international, already better than what we've got at age 21, considerably better than Rinner, was considerably better than Rodak, very well suited to Premier League football, got 5-star potential as well. We would definitely be looking to bring this lad in permanently if the opportunity arises. I suggest it's probably not going to, though. Weirdly, he's been playing fairly regularly for Benfica this season, but they still agreed to let him come out on loan to us. So he's in for the rest of the season as our new keeper. We will see what we can do about trying to bring him in permanently in the summer. We've also got Orbelin Pineda, who's on loan from Porto. He's a Mexican international, 27-year-old midfield player, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, better than all of our midfielders that we've currently got at the club. Proper Premier League player as well. Very good signing again. been playing fairly regularly for Porto in recent years, but a player who's a fringe player at Porto should be able to come into Fulham and be a very, very good player as far as I'm concerned. And then lastly, the one that really means we didn't need El Shaarawy is Vincenzo Mirabella, who's also a left winger who can play as an inside forward. We have our second wonder kid at the club. We now have a wonder kid available on both wings. He's 20 years old, Italian under-21 international, 3.5-star current ability with 5-star potential. He's very quick, he's very good, he's better than the guy we just spent £11 million on. Good work, Kev. You really are good at these transfers. A couple of other pieces of transfer news. Aubameyang has agreed to leave in the summer. He's going to be going to Ufa. Never heard of them. They're in Russia, apparently. And also one that doesn't directly impact us, I guess, but is going to have an impact on us in the future. Tinio has agreed to sign for Spal in Italy in the summer, so he's not going to be signing for us permanently at the end of his Tottenham contract. A bit of a weird deal for him, really, because we absolutely would have brought him in permanently in the summer. Spal are rock bottom of Serie A. They're going to be going down, so he's going to be playing in the second tier in Italy when he could have come in and carried on playing for us in the Premier League next season. So a bit of an odd one, but they were able to offer him a pre-contract. We weren't, so we're not going to have Tinio next season, who's been with us for the last couple of years. So with all those comings and goings, and this is the team that we're going to be playing at home against Brighton, and it is a team that has been playing pretty well together. I mean, we've not started Mirabella yet. We are going to start him fairly soon, but I've got to at least give my £11 million new signing the opportunity to force his way into the team. Really, he's cover for both sides as well. We had a bit of a winger crisis earlier in the season, so we've now got plenty of players who are available in those wide positions. Plus, El Shaarawy can go into the attacking midfielder position if we decide to do a 4-2-3-1. So he does give us a few more options, and Pineda is giving us a bit more attacking oomph from that midfield as well, which is definitely something that we were missing. So our starting 11 is Kaltak in goal, a back four of Brighton, Moore, Mawson and Sessegnon with Tinio as our holding midfielder. We're probably, as time goes on, going to look to maybe get Calderon used to playing in that defensive midfield position for us. He is a natural defensive midfielder. He's probably going to be the guy next season if Tinio is moving on. So we'll perhaps, certainly once we're safe, push Calderon back and maybe play Cullen alongside Pineda in midfield and experiment with that a little bit. Or maybe just go to the 4-2-3-1, bring Mirabella into the team, bring El Shaarawy into the middle and start experimenting with that as an option as well. We'll experiment a little bit once we're safe. And then up front we've got Mitrovic, supported by El Shaarawy and Hall. Let's get into the game and hopefully score very many goals, because we have been playing very well over the course of the last few games, except when we play against really good teams. But I imagine Brighton probably not a really good team. So fingers crossed, we should be in a position to play really rather well against them. There you go. We owe them after last time. Excellent stuff. Tunnel interview. Yes, we have looked good in training. Let's get into the match. Excellent stuff. You'll have to excuse me if this seems a little bit more jump cutty and all over the place in the edit than a normal video. You can probably hear from my voice. My blocked nose is back with a vengeance. I've been on and off with this. What a little move from Hall there. I've been on and off with this cold for the last couple of weeks. It's never really become a proper cold, but it's every now and again it'll give me a blocked nose or it'll give me coughs or sneezes. I've kind of got a combination of all of them at the moment, so I'm trying my best to edit out any coughs, sneezes, sniffs and nose blows, which is why it might jump around a little bit and seem a little bit messy. But I'm sure you'd rather have the odd noticeable jump cut rather than me just sneezing into the microphone and ruining you if you're a headphone user. 12 minutes on the clock. We haven't scored yet. I mean, it's fairly obvious. It's still 0-0, but we have got a bit of an attack through Hall on this right-hand side. What can our wonder kid conjure up? It's a lovely cross for Mitrovic, and Mitrovic really should be doing a little bit better. A striker was the one missing piece of the jigsaw, I think, in the January transfer window. I am pretty pleased with what we've done in the transfers. If I'd have found Mirabella a little earlier, I wouldn't have spent the money on El Shaarawy. I'm not an idiot. I thought he was going to be the only... When I looked, he looked like the only decent attacking option, full stop. And then Mirabella came up on a scout report right towards the end of the transfer window. So I kind of had to bring him in as well and then regretted everything. But it would have been, in an ideal world, we signed Mirabella a little sooner and try and find a striker. But a Premier League striker for less than 20 million quid, serious slim pickings, by which I mean there are none. Our best bet, I think, is that surviving in the Premier League this season gives us 40 or 50 million to spend in the summer. We can go out and really splurge on a striker. Or we take a more long-term view and try and bring in an 18, 19-year-old relatively cheap who's not going to be ready straight away, but will improve with time. And now the thing is, obviously, with the nature of this set, we've just gone 1-0 up. Liam Moore from a corner. It looked offside. Apparently it wasn't. We'll have a look at it from the other angle, then I'll continue waffling at you. So it's Brian with the free kick. Lovely in-swinger, and it just kind of bobbles around a little bit. Moore wasn't offside because I don't think it touched another Fulham shot. Mawson may... In fact, no, Mawson's not claiming the assist. Brian is. So it wasn't offside. Not even a sniff of it. Team talk. Let's just not get complacent. Let's carry on as we are. We've completely dominated that first half stats-wise. Dominated possession, dominated shots. We've just been the better team. We should really be more than 1-0 up, and that's hopefully what we'll push on and do in this second half. What was I saying? Yeah, striker. I guess the only realistically affordable option is to bring in a youngster and try and develop them. But the nature of the save, being a journeyman save, what's the point in bringing in a youngster? We've already been at Fulham over a year now. I'm not actively looking to jump ship. I've not been applying for any jobs. I don't plan to apply for any jobs unless things start to go really wrong. There you go. We're going to bring Mirabella on and have a look at him. But if a good job offer comes up, we'll obviously move on. So we don't want to bring in a striker who it's going to take 2 or 3 years to get any kind of value out of, because realistically, I don't think we're going to be at Fulham in 3 years' time. We could be, but seems silly to build for the future when we don't know that we're definitely going to be part of the future, which is why I'm less concerned about bringing in players who are in their 30s. Mirabella's just scored his first goal for us. Wonder Kid to Wonder Kid across from Hall, nodded in by Mirabella. None of these players were available for me to do the old Football Manager trick. As soon as you sign a good loan player, try and extend it to the end of next season. I don't know if that's something you're not able to do in the Premier League or not able to do in this version of Football Manager even. I did it down at Bristol Rovers or Forest Green. I feel like I did it down there. But I absolutely would have done it with the keeper and Mirabella, try and extend them both. Probably Pineda as well, although I've got a suspicion we'll be able to sign Pineda permanently in the summer, which we'll definitely be looking to do. In fact, I think we have a future fee in place for him. We just couldn't afford to pay it now yet. So if we can get £9 million together in the summer, we should be able to bring him in. So Pineda's one that I'm less worried about bringing in on loan. But the two youngsters absolutely would have liked to extend it and make them 18-month loans, but it wouldn't let me. So I will be first order of business in the summer, once we've signed Pineda permanently, try and extend these two loans. Although I think it'll be tricky to get either of them in if they perform well in the Premier League for us for half a season, which it seems like they're going to. Calderon now to Pineda. Back to Calderon. It's with Brian. Brian with the cross again, and McBurney. I mean, it's come off the. I think it's like the inside of the frame of the goal. It was a decent effort. We've won a corner. We have absolutely dominated Brighton in this game. I feel a little bit sorry for them. We're Brighton in the league, and they're actually not that far down. They're just below us, and we've absolutely destroyed them. We've looked like a very, very good team today. If we could play like this all the time, there's the possibility of a sneaky late season Europa League push. I mean, it's a big gap above us. We're in 8th place as it stands right now, and it's an 8-point gap to that top 7. So it's not something that we'd be able to do easily. But if we played like this every week, I think top 6 is doable. If not this year, then next year. So maybe we will be with Fulham in 3 years' time. If we can do top 6 without a striker, I don't think we have a striker who's scored more than 4 goals this season. I think Hall is still our top scorer on maybe 5 goals. So if we can be there in the Premier League without having a player who can score any goals for us, imagine what it would be like if we managed to find a striker. But I think this game is petering out now. There it goes. Fulham run out, deserved winners. We were very good in that game. Let's passionately say it was a nice victory. We were very good in that game. And before we play the Shrewsbury game, I do just want to check who our top scorer is, because I think it is Hall on maybe 5 goals. So, 8 goals for Simon Hall now. So actually, he's done a little bit better than I thought. 8 goals from 22 starts for a winger in his first. I mean, what a season. We're not keeping hold of him in the summer, are we? He is going to a big club, because that player at that age, he's English, he's 21, and he's just done that in his first half season in the Premier League. If he doesn't go to Man City or Chelsea for 40 million in the summer, I don't understand the English transfer policies. Right, couple of changes for the Shrewsbury game then. Firstly, we've dropped Tainio, bring Mendy in. I mentioned Calderon. We'll try Mendy there as well. There's just seems very little point in trying to develop Tainio any further. If we know he's not going to be here next year, he's going to be off playing in the Italian lower leagues. So he's going to spend a lot of time on the bench for the rest of the season. Now, I've also brought Mirabella in to play on that left-hand side, dropped El Shaarawy down to the bench. I was very tempted to try the 4-2-3-1 with El Shaarawy in there and without Mendy, but it's the FA Cup. I think there's a chance opening up for us to win this cup this season, and I don't want to risk blowing it by trying a completely untried tactic, albeit against I don't even know what division Shrewsbury are in, but let's assertively say I do expect nothing but a win. They don't care. I hope Everton don't sack their manager. What league is Shrewsbury in? Let's just have a quick look, just to see exactly what we're up against. They're mid-table League One, so it should be a comfortable enough game for us, and hopefully an opportunity for Mitrovic to get back amongst the goals again. It's been a little while since we've had any kind of run of goals from any of our strikers. Mitrovic's kind of last chance saloon here. If he doesn't score at least a couple against Shrewsbury, I think it's time for Oliver McBurney to have another run in the team. Not that he's really had a run in the team since those first couple of games when he was scoring goals before his injury. Mawson now plays it forward to Pineda, and it's with Hall. I want to see a lot of Hall and Milibera linking up today. Sessegnon back to Hall. Hall beats several men, sticks it in the back of the net. It's somehow offside. I'm not sure how a goal where he runs from there can be offside. I guess they're giving Mitrovic's offside despite the fact that he doesn't touch the ball. We've had some suspicious offsides in Football Manager recently. That one, I really don't understand how that's an offside. Mendy now to Pineda, and it's with Hall again. Hall's just going to try and beat his men again. He beats 3 of them and then fires it wide. Hall is too good for us. Although it would be nice to see him stick one of these in the back of the net and have it count before too long, because it's another one of these spells of domination where we do want to capitalise on it. It's the one area we are really struggling with scoring goals. So I do wonder if maybe the 4-2-3-1 is a sensible thing to move to. We'll perhaps try it in the second half and see if that perhaps creates a little bit more attacking on for us. Mirabella now out to Brian, and it's with Mendy. Pineda just wide, trying to curl it from quite a long way out, but doesn't manage to drag it back in far enough. If it's still 0-0 at half time, we're bringing El Shaarawy on for Mendy, and we're going to the 4-2-3-1, and we're going to see what that looks like. It'll probably ruin everything. Pineda to Calderon, back to Pineda, out to Sessegnon, who's got loads of space to pick his man. Cross comes over, aimed for Mirabella but doesn't find him, and it comes back as far as Brian, who plays it all the way back to Moore, and Moore has got the time to just run forward with it a little bit. Shrewsbury aren't really committing anybody forward. Calderon now to Pineda. Pineda out to Brian. We're just dominating possession with absolutely no end product. You can stick that on a t-shirt to describe Fulham at the moment. We're very good at keeping the ball in our midfield. We're not very good at making anything really happen with it from that point on. Last chance to go ahead in this first half now. It's with Moore, plays it forward to Mirabella, who's got loads of room to run into. Let's see how direct his running can be. He finds Mitrovic. Mitrovic scores just before half-time. I think I'm going to make the tactical change anyway, because I just want to see what it looks like now, especially now we've gone ahead. I'm a bag of contradictions, because I said if it was 0-0, we'd do it. Now we're ahead. That's my reason for doing it. I just want to try it. I want to try what something different looks like. And I think when you spend £11 million on an attacking midfielder, you probably need to, for at least a few games, try and find a way to shoehorn him into your team when you then sign a better player in his position almost immediately afterwards. So let's head to the tactics page. I think we've got a 4-2-3-1 that we've been training. No, it's not that one. It's that one. And I'm just going to shuffle this around a little bit. So for future reference, can Pineda go in there? Nah, not so much. So we want to take Mendy off and bring on El Shaarawy, and we're going to do this. He's not really great at that, but we're not going to adjust everyone else's instructions too much. We're going to keep everyone else doing what they're used to doing. Calderon can be, what do you want to be? I guess you can be that. Pineda wants to go on, you be that, and then you're going to have to be something a bit more tackly. Yeah, both of them are fancy midfielders. Perhaps we should keep Mendy on. You know what? We're playing against Shrewsbury. I don't think it matters if we have 3 playmakers in the middle of the pitch. trying to create some chances going forward. It's probably not an optimum way to set up the midfield against better opposition, but against a team who are putting 11 men behind the ball and just trying to catch us on the break, if we've got a three-man triangle in the centre of the pitch just trying to be fancy, Mirabella's just scored a wonder goal, then I don't think it hurts too much. I want to have a look at this from the other side. This is on his weak foot, remember. He's a right-footed left winger, an inside forward who cuts inside from that wing, but he's played very centrally there and just bursts past his player and sticks it into the goal. It's not quite a wonder goal, but it was a very good goal to score. 2 goals in the episode now, back-to-back goals for Mirabella. El Shaarawy is thinking, I need to make an impression in this second half, playing in this position. I didn't expect to have to play in when I signed, but this kid who's playing on that left wing is better than me. I mean, I'm reading a lot into what this man's thinking here. I'm a top quality mind reader. Caltac collects nicely as well. One thing we have changed, in fact, have I changed it on this 4-2-3-1? On the normal 4-3-3, Caltac doesn't like being a sweeper keeper. All my tactics tend to have a sweeper keeper on because they're originally built from the control possession default tactics, and they all have sweeper keepers in. I don't particularly have a preference for a sweeper keeper. I've got no issue with taking it off. Simon Hall's just got his 9th of the season. Anything Mirabella can do, Simon Hall can do better, because I think he beats more men, also scores on his weak foot, and it's from a wider, deeper position. So he bursts through. There's one man beaten. They're very similar goals from opposite sides of the pitch. Hall showing that if push comes to shove, he could play as an inside forward out there for us as well, just like Mirabella and El Shaarawy do from the other side. El Shaarawy is disinterested, playing out of position, watching 2 youngsters rule the world around him, and I'm regretting that £11 million that I've spent. He needs to come good fairly quick. He might end up being a star next season when Mirabella's not here, but he'll be 32 then, and my transfer policy for permanent signings continues to be questionable. Although, goodness me, can we find a good loan? Pineda then, out to Hall, with the chance to try and make it 4. Trying to beat his man, plays it inside to El Shaarawy, to Pineda. Pineda, loads of room. Calderon, loads of room. We could just camp out here all day long. Brian now, very wide, very far forward. Hall with the header. There's his 10 for the season. I tell you what, a lot of Simon Hall's goals have come from headers. How tall is he? I wonder if he might be the striker that we need. Maybe that's how we get El Shaarawy into the team. Get him in on the right-hand side. But maybe Simon Hall needs retraining as a striker. What do we think, boys and girls? His finishing is not great, but he is 6'2". He's very quick. He's very good in the air. Okay, his heading's not great, but his jumping reach is excellent. And he does score a lot of headers. To me, I mean, I'm not an expert when it comes to these attributes. I don't tend to use them a huge amount. Let me know down in the comments. Can we retrain Simon Hall to be a striker? I guess the one place that's an issue is probably finishing. But he's 21. Is that something we could work on? Or do we just continue to play him out in the wing and let him score as many goals as he is from out there and not worry that he's not actually called a striker? He's going to score all our goals anyway. El Shaarawy, back to Moore. I don't know why Moore's taking the throw in, but crosses to Mitrovic, and Mitrovic heads just wide. In fact, I think we're going to take Mitrovic off. There's no real reason to keep him on the pitch at this point. We'll bring McBurney on and just give McBurney a 25-minute run out against lower league opposition. Hopefully get a goal or 2 for him. Mitrovic has already scored himself a goal today, so it'd be nice to grab a goal from my other striker, get a little bit of confidence into both of them. And of course, this does get us through to the 6th round of the FA Cup. Is that the quarter-final? Are we quarter-final stage yet? I'm not entirely sure. We're going to bring Tiny on in midfield. In fact, we're going to drop him back there. And just to shore things up a little bit. Oh, it's a Segundo Volante. Go on, do that. I've never used one before. Don't know what they are. Fill your boots. Maximiliano, or whatever your name is. It's something like that. Maximus. I added a lot of extra letters there. Maximus Tinio. You do what you want as a Segundo Volante. And Mawson now, don't really know why he's the guy collecting from the corner that goes awry. El Shaarawy gives it back to Mawson, then to Pineda. Mirabella makes it 5. Both of our young wonder kid wingers have got 2 goals today. And imagine, I know we're playing against a League One opposition today, but imagine in a year or two's time when they're this good in the Premier League. I know Mirabella's not our permanent player, and Simon Hall will probably leave before we get to see this in the future. But if they develop the way they have so far, 2 years' time, they're doing this in the Premier League. Oh my word. We could have the most exciting... Imagine if my big successful team in FM19 was based on 2 fantastic wingers. I feel dirty even saying it with my history. If you've not been around the channel before FM19, you won't understand me and wingers. We've got previous. But let's passionately say that was a good victory. We were very good. And we will just... I guess we'll show you the draw before we close things out. So I'm not sure if it's a quarter-final next. Is it? I think the 6th round's a quarter-final. We'll have a look in a second, though. Let's do the draw. Right, here we go then. Draw time. And I think it is the quarter-final. Is this the stage we got to last year? I think we got quite deep in the FA Cup last year. FA Cup. Yeah, we did make... Oh, and we absolutely blew it against Reading. I remember now. So 1 win away from Wembley now, but there are some tough teams left in this tournament. I said it looked winnable. It really doesn't anymore, looking at the teams left in it. So... Burnley, this one would be good. We could handle Burnley. Tottenham. There's only really Cardiff left in it that we're going to fancy. Cardiff, are they still managed by Steven Gerrard? Because Gerrard went there after he left Fulham. They're not. Gerrard getting sacked again. What's Gerrard up to? Steven Gerrard is now not doing anything. That's what you get for stealing Dean Morris from home, you monster. Right. Draw next team. Fulham. Right. Cardiff is what we want. Although, Man United, I did notice, really laboured to beat non-league Swindon in the last round. Swindon are 2nd in the National League, and it took Man United extra time, even though Swindon... Okay, I said they were down to 10 men. 115th minute he got sent off. But it looked like that's where the goal came from. Swindon, non-league Swindon, nearly knocked them out in the last round. So Man United, not necessarily the all-conquering force that we sometimes see in Football Manager, 4th in the Premier League. They're a team that, on our day, we could probably beat. And then we'd be at Wembley in the semi-final of the FA Cup. And that's where we'll come back for the next episode as well. So we'll do that. Am I looking at the right season? I'm not. So we'll do, if it ever lets me show you it, schedule. Whenever it is, somewhere around here, we'll do the Man United game and a league game either side of it, or one side of it. And that'll be our next episode. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Back to the normal schedule tomorrow as well. And thank you very much for watching.